Hello everybody, we're out here at Kirkland Feed Yard, 30 miles west of Amarillo, Texas. It is a balmy 7 degrees. Wind chill is -12 today. We're getting ready to go out here to the barn, saddle up some horses, and get ready to ride with some feedlot cowboys. We've got a lot in store for you here on Cowboy Authentic, so stay tuned for more.
That's right. 365 days a year, our cattle get fed twice a day.
So you want to be a cowboy? Well, today may be a day to change your mind. Cattle have got to be checked today. They've got to be fed. We can't go back to the office just because it's too cold to be out here.
We went to the Kirkland Feed Yard in the Panhandle of Texas to see some feedlot cowboys in action.
What are you looking for right here as you ride into this pen of cattle?
Well, sir, on your cattle that you're looking on sick cattle, that they'll be depressed, kind of, you know. They'll a lot of times they'll like over here, they'll be laying, a few of them laying down, and that's going to catch your eye first. Especially if they've fed and the rest of them are up at the bunk, and there's one laying down, that's going to catch your eye first, and you get them up and you move them around.
Anybody can go out there and see a sick calf, but for your medicines to work right and all the drugs to work right, you have to see that calf before he's sick, and recognizing the signs, you know, that he's getting sick, instead of already when he's to the point where anybody can recognize a sick calf.
Yeah, so be able to detect early signs of sickness. Not everybody can do that. No. Pretty much anybody can tell one when its feet are sticking up in the air.
Yeah. You think the antibiotics and stuff are better now than they used to be?
The medicine's better than it used to be.
Yeah.
Doctoring's a lot simpler.
The first thing that these cattle receive when they arrive is their vaccinations. Many of these cattle come from different parts of the country. Some of them come from sale barns, some from private owners. So we really don't know what all these cattle have received and what kind of bugs they've been introduced to. So it's very important that they're vaccinated. But we can't do that until they first arrive by truck.
You know, it's a common sight, what you see here at this feedlot or a feedlot anywhere. You see these big pot trucks that you see here today coming in and out, and these cattle are run back and forth. This is how they get the transportation, and these cattle right here are just coming in. These are some fresh cattle that are just entering in the feed yard here, and these cattle will be processed here just in a few minutes. It's a bitter cold day here. You can tell this gate's shut. It's frozen down at the bottom, so he's having to free that thing up. Where'd these cattle come from?
Tennessee.
I had the opportunity to meet Perry Kirkland. He's the owner-operator of the Kirkland Feed Yard, and he developed this from 800 head to now a 30,000 head feed yard.
I grew up here in Vega on a farm just west of Vega. Farmed until 1983. This little feedlot was about 800 head yard that had sat vacant for a couple of years, and
you said 800.
800.
So it started out as only 800.
800 head.
And it's grown to what it is today.
Yes, it is.
30,000 head yard.
Close.
Close to that.
Yes. I ran the feed yard until Robbie came back from Texas Tech.
And Robbie's your son.
My son.
Yes, sir.
Graduated from Texas Tech, came back.
We won't hold Texas Tech against him.
What our goal is and our objective is to try to put a good, solid ration in front of cattle so they can fulfill their genetic potential.
In 2003, Robbie took over the day-to-day operations completely. I was led to build a new church, and we as a non-denominational community, and so I took off a year and supervised along with some others in the congregation and built a new church.
Actually took a year off to get a church started and get it built.
Mr. Kirkland's passion for the lost and wounded comes as no surprise. That's what cowboys do every day.
When they feed, I like to kind of step back and see them ones, like that one that laid down. When that feed truck come, he got up, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not sick, but he's not laying there anymore.
You bet.
I'll just go up and see if I can't get a good look at his head.
All right. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to come up here and take a look at a few of these calves. One of them is this motley faced calf here that was laying down. We're going to come up here and kind of take a look at his head just to kind of see what's going on there. He got an appetite, got up, went to the feed bunk, but yet looks like he may be sorting that calf out. So let me get over here.
I think she's going to be all right. You know, she's not gained. She's moving around good.
The livelihood of the cattle producers depends on the reliability and faithfulness of the cowboys who look after their cattle day in and day out. Seeing the cattle every day riding the same pens requires character to keep them diligent in doing their job, but their love for what they do and their desire to take care of the cattle moves them forward every day. The cowboys at the Kirkland yard have a keen eye for seeing the slightest sign of sickness, which impacts the producer and the feed yard's bottom line.
You know, you treat people right, and you're honest, and you do what you say you do, and you work hard at it, and that gives you the opportunity for people to trust you and to, you know, feed cattle with you. Because, you know, right now people are sending a load of cattle that may cost $80,000. And so to send someone a load of cattle that costs $80,000 all the way across the country from Florida or from southeast Texas, and
They've got to have confidence in you.
That's right. They have to have confidence. And so, you know, we've built that confidence, we've built that trust, and we've built those relationships. And we've got tremendous customers that have faith in us. They work with us. They, you know, a lot of them are very like-minded, and just they love the Lord as well. And so, it just gives us a great opportunity to build those relationships, build those customers. But then, you know, we have to work for them, and we have to come out here and not take for granted what we have and work hard every day.
You know, for those of you that are in business, you know, I think that right here you just heard some very valuable things that you could take to heart. I'm not trying to be negative, but, you know, in the business world today, it's tough to find integrity, honesty, people that are willing to work hard for the relationships. You know, we've got a lot of things within our culture that if people will just listen, and today you take some of these words that you heard today, if you'll apply those to your business, you're going to see the same results that the Kirkland family has seen.
Cowboys are taught from a young age that you do what has to be done and you do what you say you'll do, even if it's cold.
Well, I'll tell you what, a man could get some frostbite on his ears today, couldn't he?
Pretty quick.
Woo!
Tough trailers built for tough country. Big Ben Trailers manufactures a different kind of trailer, one that's built to put up with the rough conditions found on the ranch. Rugged build using heavy gauge powder coated steel and a 2x4 rectangle tube frame. There's a 1-inch gap between the side and floor, so there's no place for water or manure to accumulate and rust. Big Ben trailers are loaded with standard features: a lever action hitch, a 3-foot escape gate and a middle sorting gate, rhino lining along the front edges, and a receiver hitch to tow another trailer, chute, or other equipment. Tough and practical. That's Big Ben Trailers, designed and built by a working cattleman. You can rely on and trust Big Ben Trailers for their durability and convenient features. Reasonably priced for any rancher to afford. For a list of dealers and other design features, visit BigBenTrailers.com. Big Ben Trailers, built cattlemen tough.
So say there's a young man watching. He says, you know what, I think I want to be a feedlot cowboy. What kind of advice do you have for him?
You better go find you an inside job.
Why would you want an inside job? Strange things happen at -15. Frozen hands, feet, ears. Shoot, even the truck's doors are frozen down.
You know, when these cattle first arrive here at the yard, they've got to go through the process and chute and get the vaccinations that they need. And we're going to be showing you a little bit more about the processing procedure here at this particular feed yard. We're going to see if we can't get this door open. Can I beat on something while we...
Oh, this has a crowbar.
A crowbar? Let me run over here and see if they got a piece of pipe real quick. Got a piece of pipe here, see if we can't get underneath that.
Well, I don't, that's too big for that.
Can you get the leverage underneath that thing? Right underneath there, maybe?
There you go.
Cowboy engineering.
Yes.
All right. Do whatever you got to do to get something to work. Wow. Now these cattle here have come all the way from Tennessee, so they've been on about a 1,000-mile journey. They've been on this trailer for 15 hours, so they're ready to be here and unload. So it shouldn't be too tough getting these cattle to come off this trailer. Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on. Hold on, we're coming. I'm coming in with you and help you get that thing up. This thing is frozen down to the bottom of the floor. We've had to beat this thing loose so we can get this door up. These cattle can come on out of here. There we go. We about got her now. It's hitting right there. Yeah. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, ready? One more. Is that good? Okay, here we go. Hey, cattle, hey!
After a long journey, the cattle are processed and all their shots are given, and then they're moved to a pen of their own where some fresh feed is waiting on them already in the bunks when they arrive. They're hungry and ready for a meal.
You know, within this feed yard, there's several different rations that these cattle will actually ingest and take in. In fact, when they first come here, a lot of them are going to be put on a high roughage ration, and you know, they start these cattle on a starter ration, move them through the process to a grower and finish a ration. This feed right here has got quite a bit of roughage in it, but it's got a lot of concentrate, which is a lot of corn in it too. These cattle here are getting closer to be on the finishing end. And you know, you've got starter cattle, grower cattle, and finisher cattle here. And you know, it's not really fair for us to expect a young one that just comes in here, a young calf that's just got in here to take on and really to eat this really high concentrated feed. I mean, he's not ready for that yet. And you know, it's not really fair for us either as we look at how people are in the relationship to the Lord. Sometimes we can be pretty judgmental of people, and we can expect and have expectations of people that are a lot higher than what we really ought to have. Sometimes you just need to cut people a little bit of slack and realize that, you know, we're all at a different place in our walk with the Lord. In fact, there's some people out there, they're still out maybe on the wild end. There's some of them cattle that ain't been roped yet. And the truth is, you know, what we need to do instead of judging people, we need to accept people, love them for who they are, but we also need to understand that we're all in a different place in our walk with the Lord.
With 30,000 head of cattle to take care of and new ones arriving and leaving every week, there's always lots to do, and you need a lot of great help to get that done.
I'm here with Randy Martin, and he is the assistant manager here at Kirkland Feed Yard. Randy, man, it's been great spending some time with you guys here.
Been good to have y'all here. Well, I grew up, I've been in the Panhandle all my life. I grew up on the east side of the Panhandle. I grew up in Wheeler, was raised in a farm and ranching community. Been around cattle and horses all my life. I grew up roping junior rodeos, going through the junior rodeos. And right out of college, I started working at an experiment station over at Bushland and got involved in the research end of it.
The research actually in a feedlot situation?
Yes, sir.
Is that where they actually, you know, go on the side and take samples of feed stuffs and all that, where they break down, see how cattle are converting it? And
yeah, we did a lot of
that
that.
Was pretty interesting.
blood tests, blood-related diseases, and things like that on cattle. Just a lot of different aspects of the research end of it.
How long have you been right here at working here at Kirkland?
I've been working here about 9 years now.
Tell us a little bit about kind of one of the perks that you have as working on a feed yard with your kids. And I know you love the team roping, and your son is also into team roping.
Yes, sir.
And
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that.
You know, that's one thing that's good about this yard is they're real family oriented, and you know, I mean, I think it's worth a lot to be able to bring your kids out here and, you know, and teach them this way of life. There's some things that my kids have seen that kids that they go to school with, even from this area, that they don't really even get that aspect. Just, you know, life in general. You know, the life cycle.
Life cycle. That's one of the key things.
And my boys understand that because they've been around this, you know, and they understand that, you know, we do the best job we can for the cattle, and we care for them the best we can. But unfortunately, there's some cattle that, even with all the modern medicines and stuff, that we can't save, and you know, and they realize that life cycle that, you know, that has to happen.
Yeah. I'm going to go put my good boots on here in a little bit. These feet are froze. All right, well, we're going to have some fun here, I can tell you that right now.
American cowboys are known for being hardworking, tough, and true. At the end of everyone's life, we all ride off into that sunset of eternity. When answering to our Creator, it won't matter how we measure up by our standards, but how we measure up to Christ. Have you asked Jesus to take the reins of your life? To locate or start a cowboy church near you, visit AmericanFCC.org.
You know, there's a telltale sign that the wind blows here. You see these big old wind generators in the background? Woo! They don't put those in places where the wind don't blow.
We are very blessed, and the Lord has took us from where we were just getting started to where we are today.
Wow. You know, something that's come to thought just as we've gone through this, you know, I think about the fathers out there, and I think about the culture that we're a part of, this Western culture, farming, ranching, livestock industry. You know, we've got a great opportunity to do just like Perry did with his son, and that's to invest in his life, our kids' life, to spend time with them. And we've lost that in America today. So if you want to invest in one of the greatest things you can invest in, it'd be the lives of the kids and your family and your wife. Do you agree with that?
I agree. And I have 6 grandkids that hopefully, excuse me.
Hey.
Hopefully they will be the 3rd generation in the cattle and the feedlot business.
Passing the torch on.
Passing it on.
You know, Perry, for me, one of the greatest things that I get to do with Cowboy Authentic, it's not only do I get to meet great people within the cowboy lifestyle and the Western lifestyle and farming and ranching, I get to share with people in a way that's unique about probably the thing that I'm most passionate about, and that is my relationship with Jesus Christ. And you know, after talking with you and meeting you and visiting with you, you've got a relationship with the Lord. Is there? You want to share with me some of your testimony?
I was raised in a Christian home, but there was a time that my work, my drive overshadowed it. Actually, it was really in the early 90s, mid 90s, I realized that Christ had a purpose in my life, something besides just work. I had family and things, and my life changed.
Well, I hope you have a better idea about what it means and what it looks like to be a feedlot cowboy. As you can tell, the elements have been difficult and tough, and they face challenges every single day, but that's their job, and that's what they do here at the Kirkland Feed Yard. I want to talk about a cowboy political view, if you will, and this is just my own personal opinion, but as I've been here at this feed yard, I kind of see a relation here, some cowboy logic on politics, if you will. You know, you take an animal that has been out grazing and free choice feeding and providing for its own need, and then you take this animal and you confine it here in this yard, and then you bring its food to it every single day, and man, you want them at the feed bunk, and boy, putting that weight on them and just bringing feed to them. And you pin them up in a small pen, and then basically you take them to a point where they're finished. You know, as I think about what's going on in our country today, I'm gonna let you know something from this cowboy. Socialism in this country will not work, and let me tell you why. Because America is based on freedom, and you can't be free and be a socialist nation. I believe that our culture is one of the only cultures left within the United States that has the backbone, the grit, and the ability to make a change in this nation. What I see going on is simply this: you can't have a welfare state. And what they're doing to many people in America today is very similar to what I described about what takes place in a feedlot. You have individuals who could be out making an earning and making their way. Listen, I have no problem with feeding a cow when there's nothing for her to eat, but I'm not going to feed that cow year round. I expect her to get out and to make her own way. Well, I want to let you know, if you've bought into the lie that it's best if the government provides everything you need, it truly is not the truth. What we need to do is we need to quit relying on the government to bring food to us, and we need to get out and hustle and make a living for ourselves. And this is probably an unpolitical, incorrect message in the view of many people, but this is my view, and I support this message.
Subscribe to Traveling Partners magazine for interesting stories about the cowboy culture, historic stories on ranching, and just plain funny stuff. This magazine is inspirational, written about men all across the country who cowboy for a living with old-fashioned sense. Traveling Partners, a magazine for the cowboy culture.
I'm John Riggs. I'm a cowboy, I'm a preacher. I love God and I love America, and I see them both at their best out where the men work to feed all their families. It's rough, it's raw, it's real. Come experience the enduring character of the men and the land as we cowboy authentic. Well, I'm here with Cliff Gouldy, and Cliff, man, thanks for letting me ride with you today.
You bet.
It's been an interesting day, to say none the least. You know, I've always heard it said that if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. Cliff here is, he's kind of the head cowboy here at this particular feed yard, here at the Kirkland Feed Yard. And Cliff, you've done a little bit of everything. I mean, you've been a ranch cowboy and day worked, and you know, you've done a little bit of everything. And now here you are in the yard and working in a confined area. You know, for some cowboys, they've never worked in a feed yard. I mean, yeah, they handle livestock and they got some wide open spaces they ride in, but this got to be a little bit different deal for you.
It is, you know, with it, you're like you say, you're confined. You got more things that can give you problems with cattle, you can't pick your days to work. You have works, you work every day. Yeah,
it's every day.
Yes, sir.
You bet.
And just like today, but you know, it's at the end of the day, it's the same as like a ranch job. I mean, you take pride in what you do, and at the end of the day, you feel good about what you done a good job, and you get paid that way. That's the pays ranch deal and feedlot deal's all the same. It's not why we do it.
You bet.
It's that feeling you get end of the day.
That's not the first time I've heard that said, but it's the truth within our culture. You don't do this for the pay. Right. Totally. I mean, yeah, you got to eat and you got to provide for your family, but there's a love for what you do here. Yes, you know, and being a herdsman and taking care of this stuff here, and really you take care of it kind of like it's your own. You about have to, don't you?
Well, if you got pride, you do.
You ain't kidding, but that's the way cowboys are.
That's right.
Well, give me for those of us that are watching that maybe have never worked in a yard, give me one of them things that you'd say is a sure enough good perk about working in a yard, because some of them old boys would say, yeah, they're confined to that old dusty, dirty feedlot pen tending to them cattle. They're not out on these big old wide open places and spaces, and you've been both, and so what do you have to say about that?
I guess it'd have to be if a guy wants to be a horseback all day, that would be the perk.
You get to be every day, don't you?
Right, make your own horses. And,
you bet.
And you're on the ranch deal. You're feeding half the time. You're hauling water a lot of places, and bucking hay, and here you're right here.
This is what you do.
Yeah, you're hanging two legs over one every day, all day.
You bet. Give me something that you miss about the ranch cowboy deal.
The country.
The country.
The wide open freedom.
You bet. Not being confined to a certain area, but getting out and sure enough covering some ground.
Yeah.
You bet. Absolutely.
That long trot to the backside.
Yeah, you bet. That long trot to the backside.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Thanks for watching, and you can find us at cowboyauthentic.com. Like us on Facebook. If you'd like to see some sneak previews of our upcoming shows, go to YouTube and you can watch those there. And if you've got any questions about Cowboy Church, maybe you're interested in starting one, contact the American, fcc.org. That's the American Fellowship of Cowboy Churches. This is Cowboy Authentic.